I click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar, now over at Odyssey. Thanks to members over there. So, some SOYBOY journalists got, that is a sweet 223. Base wrestler sets a SOYBOY reporter straight. He says Alex Cayley, the SOYBOY reporter, is an infection and everything wrong with the world. Absolutely correct. And I'll say, all of mainstream media is an infection on the world. I was going to say all left-wing mainstream media, but you think about it, it's like, if it's mainstream, it's all left-wing media. There's no right-wing mainstream media. It's not allowed by our puppet masters who know who know best for us. So, SJWs, please turn off the video now and unsub if you sub by accident. I cannot stand reading your long, passive-aggressive, whiny comments. Just save us both the hassle. You won't like the video, and I won't like your pussy comments. Go in peace. So, gay ally Alex K. Lee has his panties in a bunch about what a wrestler thinks about the gays, which you think, well, who cares what a sports guy... In fact, there's some Out Sports magazine, which is, I guess, is a sporting magazine for people in the BLT thing, and there's even BLT people in the comment section are going like, yeah, you put this guy... I mean, he answered the question reasonably. You put him on the spot here, and ultimately it comes down to is like, why are you asking this guy about what he thinks about the gays? They said they don't need his approval. It's just a whole weird thing to talk about. It's like, well, if you look at the media, you'll understand what they're doing here. This is to control a narrative and to have a chilling effect on certain aspects of free speech. So he's got his panties in the bunch. Why is he asking the question? He's asking the question because he wants to destroy his life and control the narrative, because Lee is a parasite as well as all of the mainstream media. The reporter is part of the machine that doesn't report the news, but is used to shape the narrative. They're telling you what the media will do. They'll try to destroy you if you're not a good cattle. It's like CNN doxing the guy who made a Trump meme about wrestling, and Trump was punching out CNN. I mean, it was nonsense. CNN shouldn't even have covered the story. It's just, I mean, it's not because it's CNN, because it's not newsworthy. It's just a little bit of silliness. But CNN did cover the story, and they doxed the guy. It's like, oh, this doesn't feel impartial, CNN. It's like, obviously they're not. The media makes no attempt at being anything other than toxic globalist propagandists. They are the tools of the puppet masters. The BLT agenda will be enforced. If you disagree, the media will focus its hate on you to get you fired and have the advertisers not work with you, which is the goal here, is they're trying to get the advertisers, ESPN, and the UFC company, and then all the advertisers that work with them. But I will say that people seem to be pretty tired of this. And ESPN is who owns that? Disney has gone the way of being super soy, but sports people in general are not. So I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if you're still watching, holy cow, if you're watching sports ball, if you're paying to support sports ball now, like, you're kind of a pussy if you're supporting. These people hate you. Maybe, I don't know if there's some kind of alt sports, but it's, ultimately, like, even this, if it's paid for by ESPN, it's run by lizard people. Anyway, but now people have got to realize that the media is the enemy of the people. More people have to openly mock the media as the Bolshevik cancer it is. And yes, if you're SOYBOY listening to this, that includes Fox. It's all the same thing. It's all low testosterone soy media controlled by a half a dozen billionaire puppet masters whose only goal is to destroy the West, which they have very much accomplished that. So the reporter is trying to destroy this wrestler to send a message to the cattle that they must not get out of line. It's okay to not want BLT kids, and it's definitely okay to call the media the parasites that they are. Here's the thing. Do you really think the BLT rates today are organic? No, it's a mass hysteria, societal contagion spread by the Bolshevik schools and media, and it's only possible because of social media and smartphones. Oh, gee, this stuff didn't exist 20 years ago. Well, 20 years ago there was what was it, 2004? God. Time just keeps on slipping into the future. There was an internet, 2004 for sure, but the smartphones weren't ubiquitous then. and that makes a difference in the social media platforms and whatnot. So the thing is, none of this is organic. None of this is real. We're in the stage of Sodom where people are removing their parents are removing their branches' ability to grow buds, to create new trees. You look around nervously. Is this hell on earth? It's getting pretty close. Might be right next door to hell, to make another musical reference. Yeah, so there are some organically, a tiny percentage of people who are nature created BLT and not nurture. And I don't know how far I can go into this discussion on the Google Puppet Master YouTube. Otherwise, I might lose that sweet $4 a day. But, there's a nature and nurture argument to be had. And, nothing against the BLT community. I have no issue with them whatsoever. I think a lot of what's going on now, people are kind of wondering, is like, this doesn't feel organic. To where if you put something in front of kids are naturally going to gravitate toward that. And you put a bunch of rainbow flags in schools, and the teacher is teaching them about all this, Saul Alinsky Frankfurt School nonsense. It's like the kids go, oh, I can get attention if I can be for kids of European descent now, especially Christians, the schools are teaching them that they're the most hated things on earth, and racism against them is perfectly acceptable. In fact, they're encouraging it. So the kids are learning, oh, I can put myself at the top of the hierarchy, this privileged hierarchy. With the bottom of it, the people who are just all the hatred is directed at are going to be European people, especially Christians, especially if you're blonde or red hair or something. And then above that actually is our Asians, so they're kind of in a tricky spot. But at the absolute top, you think, oh, the Sunman community or something. No, it's actually at the absolute top is the T in the BLT community, because the regular BLs, Gs, the BLs and Gs are not really. If they're conservative, then they go back down to being at the bottom. Or even if you're black, a sun man, and you're conservative, a sun person, then you're at the bottom too. So it's like none of this is real. It's just a shifting scale. It's like, oh wait, if I'm a black Christian Republican, suddenly I'm just with all these other people. It's like, what happened to your oppression hierarchy? It's like, it's all fiction, dude. The nonsense is that we don't call these parasites out for the Frankfurt School propagandists that they absolutely are. Anyway, so the thing is there's a nature versus nurture argument to this. I don't know where I was going with that. So Kevin Hart said he didn't want a BLT kid. Fair enough. And the media tried to destroy him. And then Sally Cohen, who's, I don't know, some kind of reporter or something, said she wanted a gay kid because she's gay herself, and the media loved it. It's like, oh, so like the media is not the media. The media is the narrative, to control the narrative, to push a message. They control the news. They don't report the news. Those days are long gone. I don't know if those days ever existed, because even Mark Twain's days, he had a lot to say about the media. So their goal is to send a message that they'll destroy anyone who's against the narrative. They want people to self-censor. And the thing is, he asked the reporter Alexander K. Lee, who's a BLT ally, Strickland asks him, well, what about your kid? Don't you want to have grandkids? And how would you feel if your kid was this? And he goes, that's fine with me. It's like, no, it's not. You're lying. And soon as you lie like that, you lose all your credibility. Where you would have just been more honest in like a Dukakis moment. Drive around your little tank. You just would have been more honest. You would have had your credibility if you go, yeah, I would not have wanted my kid to be that, because I want grandkids. I want the kid to continue the tribe, to continue the family. But you're not gonna. You could say that's your preference, but you're not gonna teach the kid that gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. But you want kids and grandkids, and you want to continue that family, to grow the family. It's like, just be honest. And what would happen to the journalist, the BLT ally, if he said that? Well, he'd be fired. So all the machine that's coming after Strickland to get his advertisers to ban him, to stop working with him, and then to stop working the UFC and then ESPN or whatever. It's like, it feels like this is going to peter out because there's not enough people who care. All that would be turned around on Alexander K. Lee. So suddenly he's out of a job as a reporter because he was honest. It's like, oh well, we just need to call out their bigotry. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who want to destroy somebody's life. They ask a question, and if you give the wrong answer, it's like, oh well, you need to be destroyed for that. So, what did you ask the question for in the first place? Well, they asked the question to get you to lie, so other people would learn that this is the new agenda. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and they'll normalize all this stuff. You think you're a conservative, right? How far am I going to this? Look back in the past by decade, 100 year by 100 year, and think, conservatives like, well, what have you conserved? What beliefs have you conserved, even from within the past 100 years? And you go, oh, well, naturally things evolve and change. Yeah. So, I mean, extrapolate now in the future, and guess what's going to be evolved and changed in the future? Because, the modern conservatives, they don't conserve anything. It's the left wing is running to the left, and the right wing is walking to the left. Anyway, Alexander K. Lee is an infection and everything wrong with the world. I love that. We need more people like this. And ultimately, if the UFC gets soy, and it probably will, eventually it will, everything does, everything gets ruined. Wokeness turns everything to S. I mean, it's not that hard to open up another, MMA type of company and film it and entertain it, make pay-per-views and that kind of stuff. Because, the people who are into watching this are just not going to be into that. Oh, somebody called it, I don't know, like female corporate upspeak. It's not just the upspeak, but it's that they call it therapy speak, I think. And the thing is, it's not just female. I hear guys talking like this too, and it does not look good for the future when people are talking with that therapy talk and upspeak and just, go like, people need a war. Yeah, the soft times create the softest of soft men, and the media machine. Like, you get a little clarity, you put on the sunglasses and you look at the media and you're like, oh, you guys are just 100% pushing a narrative. No, you're not even attempting to be impartial, unbiased, and fair in your presentation. They frame the thing as like, oh, they're istophobic comments. You go, wait a minute. You just are supposed to say what the comments were and the context. You don't, that's the argument, or that's the facts. You don't make the conclusion for the reader. The reader makes their own conclusion, and the media doesn't want to. This is why the left can't meme, because they don't want you to reach your own conclusion, because our conclusion is, oh, this reporter sounds like something I can't say on YouTube, and the wrestler sounds cool, and the media's like, no, you're not supposed to reach that conclusion. That's why those left-wing memes are so verbose, because they want to make sure that, oh, this is the antagonist. And you look at the left-wing meme, it's like, you guys sound like a bunch of pussies. What's wrong with you? Oh, no, you can't. Or here's the thing. R slur, F slur, and a couple other slurs. They took that, social media banned those slurs. But the thing is, those slurs, R slur and F slur, and there's another one, I forget what the other one was. Those are good slurs, shorthand slurs to really sum things up. And now you call things soy, which is actually pretty decent too, because everyone knows what soy means. But they took those off of social media, and it controls. There's so much to human psychology in this big picture, and I don't have the lexicon for it, because I don't understand. Because it's sociology, the ability of these Frankfurt School people to control the language controls the way people think. And if you can change the language, you can cause people to self-censor, and you can really change the way people think. People know, like, oh, I just can't say certain things on my opinion on certain things. I have to do this vague, ambiguous speak when I know I'm in public, because I might get fired. I might, my spouse might get fired. I might lose my bank account, kicked off of social media, because it's like in Cuba when people were referring to Castro, they just touched the nose or the beard. They touched the beard to indicate he's got that long beard. In Russia, there's similar things where you just couldn't say certain things around certain people, kind of stuff. And anyway, this media is not the media, but Alexander K. Lee is an infection, and everything wrong with the world. I love saying that. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks to everyone on Subscribestar with the unusual donation the other day, and thanks to Mr. Nature, Veg, and everyone else. I'll see you guys on the next episode.